The Galaxy S26 Ultra is only a few weeks away from its official debut, and at this point, there's barely anything left to the imagination. A wave of reliable leaks has essentially painted the full picture, from the hardware upgrades and performance gains to pricing details and the exact launch timeline. Today, we're breaking down everything that's been revealed so far about what could easily become the most powerful Android flagship of the year. For the past few years, Samsung's direction has been confusing, to say the least. Since around 2020, a company that once led the smartphone industry with bold ideas and cutting-edge innovation started being criticized for playing it safe. Many fans felt Samsung was slowly shifting from being a trendsetter to chasing Apple, mirroring iPhone decisions instead of pushing forward on its own terms. But 2026 feels different. With the Galaxy S26 Ultra, Samsung appears ready to remind everyone why the Ultra name actually matters. This phone brings meaningful upgrades across the board, real improvements, not just marketing buzz. That said, there's one rumored decision that could spark serious backlash among fans. We'll get to that controversy later because now that the leaks are basically complete, we finally have a clear picture of what Samsung is preparing to launch. And for once, we're not starting with the design. Let's talk about the display. Samsung has long been considered the undisputed leader in smartphone displays, and the Galaxy S26 Ultra does nothing to challenge that reputation. The phone will once again feature a massive 6.9-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X panel, matching the size of last year's model. But while the dimensions remain the same, the technology underneath has taken a noticeable step forward. This year, Samsung is introducing a brand new M14 display panel paired with advanced COE technology. Together, these upgrades deliver improvements across the board: more accurate colors, deeper contrast, sharper clarity, and, most importantly, better power efficiency. In theory, this panel is capable of reaching up to an insane 6,000 nits of peak brightness. However, according to multiple reports, Samsung is intentionally capping brightness at around 2,600 nits, similar to the S25 Ultra. And that decision is very intentional. Instead of chasing record-breaking numbers just for headlines, Samsung is prioritizing battery life and sustained performance. Less heat, lower power draw, and more consistent brightness in real-world use. On top of that, Samsung is also introducing a brand new privacy display feature. This technology reduces visibility from side angles, making it much harder for people nearby to peek at your screen, a subtle but genuinely useful upgrade. As for the front camera, the punch hole cutout is expected to be slightly larger this year. That's due to a wider lens aperture on the selfie camera. The sensor itself remains a 12-megapixel shooter, the same resolution as last year, but the field of view expands to 85 degrees. That means better group selfies and more background in your shots without stretching your arm halfway across the room. Now, flipping the phone over to the back, we start seeing more meaningful camera changes. The Galaxy S26 Ultra sticks with Samsung's familiar quad-camera layout, but this year, there are important refinements. The main camera and the 5x periscope telephoto both receive aperture adjustments, allowing more light to hit the sensors. The ultra-wide and 3x telephoto cameras remain unchanged hardware-wise, which might disappoint some users, especially those hoping for a long-overdue upgrade to the 3x zoom. That said, hardware is only part of the story. Samsung is also rolling out major improvements to its image processing algorithms this year. When you combine those software upgrades with the new camera tweaks, we should see a noticeable boost in both photo and video quality, particularly in low-light situations and zoom shots. Under the hood is where things get really serious. The Galaxy S26 Ultra will be powered by Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 processor. And thanks to Samsung's continued partnership with Qualcomm, this will be the exclusive for Galaxy version, featuring higher clock speeds and additional optimization. Based on everything we know so far, this chip is shaping up to be the most powerful mobile processor of the year. Yes, even outperforming Apple's A19 Pro in certain benchmarks. But raw power isn't the only focus here. Efficiency is the real story, and that brings us to the battery. Once again, Samsung is sticking with a 5,000 mAh battery, a capacity we've seen for years, dating all the way back to the Galaxy Note era. On paper, that might seem disappointing. But this year, battery life improvements don't come from size. They come from efficiency. A more efficient processor, a power-optimized display, smarter brightness management, and better thermal control should all combine to deliver noticeably longer battery life in everyday use. It may not look exciting on a spec sheet, but in real-world usage, this could be one of the most meaningful upgrades of the entire phone. Charging also sees a welcome boost. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is expected to support Qi 2 magnetic wireless charging at up to 25 watts. Wired charging, meanwhile, jumps to 60 watts, a significant improvement over the 45-watt limit on the S25 Ultra. It's not the fastest charging on the market, but it's a clear step in the right direction. Now let's talk design. At this point, the Galaxy S26 Ultra's design is no longer a mystery. The overall look has already been confirmed through multiple leaks and renders, and we've covered it in previous discussions. What's new, however, is the color lineup. According to highly reliable leakers like Ice Universe and Evanblast, Samsung is introducing a standout hero color this year, cobalt violet. It's bold, premium, and unmistakably Samsung. And for anyone wondering, no, there's no orange this time. Samsung isn't copying Apple's color trends, and honestly, that's refreshing. But here's where things get controversial. There's growing speculation that Samsung might ditch titanium and return to an aluminum frame, similar to what Apple reportedly did with the iPhone 17 Pro. For Apple, that decision made sense due to its unibody design and internal structure. But for Samsung, such a move would be far harder to justify. The Galaxy S25 Ultra is already one of the lightest phones in its class, and Samsung's thermal performance is among the best in the industry. Switching back to aluminum wouldn't meaningfully improve weight or cooling. It would simply reduce manufacturing costs. If this rumor turns out to be true, many fans will see it as a step backward and a clear example of cost-cutting at the expense of the Ultra identity. Hopefully, Samsung sticks with titanium. An Ultra phone should feel like one in every way. As for launch details, the Galaxy S26 Ultra is set to be officially unveiled at Samsung Unpacked on February 25th, with availability starting on March 11th. Pricing is expected to increase in some regions due to rising component costs and the ongoing RAM supply issues. However, leaks suggest Samsung may keep U.S. pricing unchanged to stay competitive with Apple's iPhone 17 lineup. All things considered, the Galaxy S26 Ultra feels like a meaningful evolution rather than a radical redesign. It's a refined, smarter, more focused flagship, and honestly, that might be exactly what Samsung needed this year. So, what do you think about the Galaxy S26 Ultra?